Good morning, beautiful people. Just going to plug in my phone so that it charges while we're driving. Oh, it's a beautiful day today, which is great because I had some very sad news this morning. Been fairly, just checking I've got my wallet before we head off because I've got it. Awesome. Nothing worse than getting to town. It's like, shit, my wallet. Sorry. Just putting on some lip balm. So yeah, some sad news for me today. I haven't really said a lot about my friend Birdie on my channel. I've mentioned having a couple of friends who were terminally ill. I should say one's still with us, but every morning I'm really busy and I run around and get so much done, and this morning it's such a lovely sunny morning. I just wanted to sit out on my deck and look at the beach, and Birdie was very much in my thoughts, and I knew that she was going to go today if she hadn't already. And this was like, I sat out there from 5:30 this morning, and then at about 9:15 I went inside to make a cup of tea. I had an online, like a telehealth appointment with my doctor at 10. And I went in to make a cup of tea, and I picked up my phone and I just opened up the last text message that Birdie had sent me, and I was reading that while I waited to make my cuppa. And I went back out onto the deck and was sitting out there with my cup of tea and just thinking about the last message we'd had with each other. And then about half an hour later, I got the call from her partner that she'd passed away this morning at 9:20, right when I was sitting there thinking about the text message and so on. So I'm not falling apart at the moment. That'll happen at some point. I get really annoyed when people lose someone who's been sick and other people say to you, well, at least you had a chance to say goodbye. But the reality is you don't a lot of the time, and also you still don't know how it's actually going to feel when they do actually die. It's a very dismissive thing for people to say. Thank you, Ruth. Thanks, darling. I'm in a really good headspace. I'm actually on my way to get my hair cut. So this is haircuts for Birdie, and it's such a gorgeous day too. So I thought I'd share the beautiful day. I knew the second I woke up this morning she was going to leave us today. So let's drive into town, and if you want to keep me company, that's cool. I don't know how long I'm going to last with my reading glasses on, with it being so sunny. I might have to put my sunglasses on. Flat tire, you're back. I have no idea who you are, but you were cracking me up the other day. Thank you for the laughs. And I need, not that I'm falling in a heap today, but it's just, it is part of life, death, obviously, but it's just like, okay, that's enough now, thank you. With being there, dying just before Christmas, and her funeral wasn't till the first week of January. And then there's been a couple of other people that I know who've died since then. But Birdie was a super close friend of mine. She lives just down here, in fact, just down the road. Well, she lived, her and her partner and their little kitten Jonesy, who will be, no doubt, wondering where her mum has gone. But yeah, so to lose another incredibly close friend, and not only close friend, but like close proximity friend, the number of times I've walked down this hill to visit her. And of course I'll still be going there because Scotty lives there still. We're all going to wrap him up in as much love as we can. But yeah, she literally just lives, there's a little laneway that goes here just before the main road, and she's a couple of houses in there. Thank you, flat tire. It's shitty, but I'm so relieved for her that she's no longer in pain. But the sad thing about it was she was only diagnosed with cancer last year, and they got into some pretty aggressive treatments and so on. But she had all of my friends who've had cancer or any other kind of illness regarding, requiring ongoing treatment. She just had the worst run. Like everything that happened, she'd have an operation and then there'd be complications from that. There'd be allergic reactions to certain medicines. Like she had such a hard run, and through it all, she was so dignified and kept her sense of humour. But it was only 2 weeks ago that the doctors said to her, look, the chemo's not doing anything. We're going to stop treatment. There is a very aggressive drug we can put you on, which could extend your life for 6 or 7 weeks beyond prognosis, but it will, absolutely rattle you to the core. Like the side effects are horrible. And like anyone, I can't imagine anyone, I mean, maybe some people would choose that option, but she opted to not go down that road. I wouldn't have either. When you're talking, you've got a couple of months to live, then 7 weeks or 6 weeks of extending your life, and you're pretty much going to be having hideous reactions to a drug. Is it worth it? I don't think it is. Quality over quantity. But yeah, so they stopped the treatment and we caught up and she said, they've basically said I've got 2 months at worst, 6 at best. And we're all still getting our heads around that. And then I had lunch with her not last weekend, the weekend before on the Saturday. And then from the Sunday after that, when we had lunch, she started to go downhill very quickly and had a week at home, but she was very, very tired and not up to seeing people. She was still sending me messages and so on. And then, she just went downhill very quickly last week and was put into a palliative care ward on Wednesday. By then, she was transferred from another hospital. By then, she was pretty much in that semi-comatose state. So relieved that she's now out of pain. Terribly sad for her partner and her mum and her brother and all of her friends. And it's going to be a slightly less cheery world without her. Not a slightly less, it's going to be a much less cheery world without her on it. She was a little cheeky little monkey, but so dignified throughout everything. But isn't it weird when you wake up and you just know? Well, I don't know, sometimes people may not, but I knew. I saw the day and I was like, this is the most perfect, beautiful day, and it's the sort of day that Birdie loved. I mean, don't get me wrong, she was a little homebody too. She also loved the cold, wet, stormy days when you got to stay inside and do things inside. But I just knew, I woke up and went, this day is so beautiful. And it's warm and sunny and the sky is amazing. I just knew, and I didn't run around doing all of my usual. I'm very productive in the mornings, and I just wanted to sit still out of my deck and look at the beach, and I went for my beach walk. And I knew she'd gone, or I knew she was going to go today. But thanks, Casper. Hey, mate, good to see you. So then I had Scotty rang me, and then he asked me to ring a couple of our other friends because poor guy, he's basically, he'd been on the phone for half an hour letting people know. So I rang up some of our friends to let them know, and then I had a telehealth appointment at 10, and now I'm driving into town for a haircut. It's pre-booked. I'm not changing. It's like, yep, I'm going to get a new haircut for Bernie. She had the most gorgeous hair. She still had like, not ringlets, but she still had like um, soft baby hair. You know, like it was like her hair never became adult hair with these really cute little curls. She's this tiny little thing too. I mean, I think I'm handling it well because she and I had so many lovely catch ups and got to do so many things. And it wasn't oh my God, you're going to die. Let's do heaps of shit together. It just happened to be that time of year where like we spent New Year's Eve together. It's crazy to think that a month ago she's out on the dance floor dancing to a really bad band, I might add, and having a ball. And now she's gone. And then my birthday, she came up for afternoon tea, and her mum was with her. Her mum was heading back up the East Coast. But we got to have really gorgeous afternoon tea together on my birthday. I'd been popping down to see her and Scotty. We had the last day that she was really able to do anything without being bedridden was the day that we had lunch together. And I can't believe how lucky I was to have all of that time with her and really special moments with her. And so I think that's why I'm handling it, because there's nothing worse when somebody you love dies and you're like, fuck, I wish I'd run them. I wish I'd gone and had that coffee with them. You know, and as always, when someone dies, no doubt at Birdie's funeral as well, people will be reconnecting and be like, oh my God, we've got to catch up. And if anyone says that, I'm going to be like, right, I'm calling you tomorrow morning and we're booking your timing. Kind of ties in with that live I did the other day about why human beings have to go through a pretty horrible personal experience for them to learn an important life lesson. But, you know, we're meant to be these sort of creatures of habit, and yet these lessons, you know, people just need to keep getting kicked up the bum each time something bad happens to be reminded of that lesson. Now, I'm not sure if I want Birdie and Being there to meet up. I don't know about those two together. Being there would definitely lead Birdie astray, but Birdie was pretty mischievous and would probably also, they'd probably be fine together. I don't know. Thanks, Nika. We're going to throw out love hearts and little birdie emojis for my beautiful friend Birdie. See, here's another story that happened. Like the last 4 weeks that I've had Birdie very present in my life, and 6 weeks, I guess, you know, just all those things we were chatting about before. But there's been so many like Birdie sort of signs and moments. Like I knew that she'd gone she hadn't actually died when I woke up, but I knew she was going to go today. So when Scotty rang, I said, she's gone, hasn't she? And he's like, how did you know? I said, I've known all morning. And I've just been sitting on my deck thinking about all the lovely moments we had and reading the last text messages and stuff. Now, where was I going with that? Oh, so the other day, another friend of so we've got a really tight-knit group down where I live. They're all such beautiful people. We all look out for each other. There's so much love and support in this circle of friends that I've got, and that's another reason why I adore where I live. And it doesn't matter who's going through what, we're all there for each other. These are the people, Scotty and Bertie, are the people I've been cooking a lot of food for and dropping it down to them. So I'm going to do some cooking for Scotty this afternoon and drop some food down to him tomorrow, so he just doesn't have to think about eating and cooking. I mean, he needs to eat, but he doesn't need to think about cooking or finding food. I'm going to cook up a heap of stuff, including I'll roast him up a chicken, so he'll have like a chicken and he can make some salads and do what he wants with that, but I'll also make him some other things that he just wants to go. Thanks, Twiggy. Good to see you, gorgeous. Oh, thank Thank you for the little birdie emojis, Mika. So the other day I was on the phone to another guy in our group, Roger, and he ended up coming up to my place. They've got a neighbour who has a peach tree that hangs over their fence, and he was just delivering these huge bags of peaches to everyone. I'm going to be stewing peaches this weekend as well and freezing them so I can drop them in smoothies and stuff. But so he was doing that, and I was assembling this raised garden bed. I've got a little raised garden bed that I've put on my deck where I'm going to grow, zucchini and pumpkin. Like, it's not a massive one, but it's big enough for those two things. I'm not going to worry too much about herbs. I'm going to do a completely separate thing for a herb garden, but I'm turning my deck into a beautiful functioning garden this year. That's my project. So anyway, I was assembling that and realised that they'd only drilled holes at the end of, like, one end of these sheets of metal and the other end was missing. So I was thinking, oh, fuck, I don't want to stuff up my drilling metal, and I can't stand the sound of metal on metal. So I was like, well, maybe I could just find some really good, strong bulldog clips and just sort of assemble it like that. Or I'll have to get a friend to drill the holes. And then as it turned out, Roger rocked up with all of these peaches. I know this is a very long-winded story. And because we're all beautiful friends who look after each other, he's like, hey, I'll take them with me and I'll drill holes, I'll bring it back up. So he did that. But before he had come up with peaches, I had made a peach smoothie with the last peach I had in my fruit bowl, which Birdie had given to me on my birthday with a couple of other peaches from her mum's tree. And one of them was like a bloody brick. So it had been sitting in the fruit bowl ripening. So I just had this amazing peach smoothie. Then Roger rocked up with all these peaches. And then I'm rummaging around trying to find bulldog clips. And I can't find them anywhere. And so I'm pulling, my house is pretty minimalised. There's not many places where bulldog clips would be. So I went to the final spot where I thought they would be. And I pulled out this basket that's got pens and, bits of stationery and stuff in it, and bulldog clips. But when I pulled the basket out of the drawer, underneath the basket was this red plastic bird that friends of mine gave me for my 40th birthday. It's like a necklace. Originally it was on a ribbon, and then I switched that out and used to wear it around my neck on a chain. And when I built my house and moved down there, I kept wondering where this little red bird was, because it's a really beautiful necklace. Stunning. And I knew that I'd taken the chain off it to put something else on the chain, but couldn't find the bird. But anyway, I pulled out this basket, and underneath the basket there's the bird. And down at Birdie and Scotty's, he has painted really gorgeous little outlines of birds in different rooms. Like in one room up in the top corner there'll be a little bird. And he bought her a lot of bird things, and she collected a lot of bird stuff. But it wasn't over the top stuff. It was really simplistic, arty, cute bird things like this necklace. And I was like, look at this, Roger. I haven't been able to find this for 6.5 years. And I just pulled this basket out of the drawer, and the bird was lying under the basket. So the other day, I think the day Scotty rang to tell me she was going into palliative care, I just got a bit of blue tack. I'm going to find something better to fix it with. But I just stuck it up in the corner of my kitchen window, and we were messaging each other after our chat, and I just flicked in the little photo of the bird necklace, or the whatever it is, it's not the whole necklace, just the bird, stuck on the kitchen window and he loved it. And I was like, yeah, I've got a little bit of birdie in my kitchen now. So all these things happened, long-winded story, but I think I'm processing her leaving because I know how much pain she was in and I know how tired she was. And we were all with her from when she got the diagnosis and saw how incredibly dignified and gracious and gorgeous she was through all of it. And we all had really honest, frank conversations with her. Like, I don't feel like there's anything I didn't do or say before she left, and it's a really nice feeling. It's really nice to not have any regrets. And it's really nice that I've had all these little birdie things happen as well. But thanks, guys. I appreciate your condolences. It was just too soon. But at least, even though it was too soon and that really sucks, at least it was quick. She's no longer in pain. She's flying free, and to wake up knowing she was going to go today if she hadn't already, and being really content with that, but just choosing to spend my time quietly this morning for a few hours, just thinking about our most recent conversations and things that we've done together. And this is a girl I've known since I was at school, by the way. She's not a new friend to me since I moved down to that area. It was just another little magical thing that happened in me moving down there, is that she had met and fallen in love with a guy who lives down there. So yes, I've known her for about 40 years. And it was lovely just to reconnect with her and get really close. And our group is very tight-knit. And I often, when I'm with that group of people, I think about how YouTube is just so insane. But I'm grateful that my channel feels like a really nice and tight-knit circle of friends as well. I've never wanted to have a massive channel. I'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but I like that art is imitating life as far as my YouTube experience goes now. Not that it's always been like that, but I like the same sort of closeness I feel with these people in real life, the group of friends I was in, am in, with Birdie and everyone else. I love that my channel's sort of creating a similar circle of friends. It's pretty nice. I think another reason I'm feeling okay too is I'm on my way to get my hair cut, and my hairdresser just happens to be my best friend. So I get to spend a few hours with him, and he knows Birdie. He knew Birdie. He's the perfect person for me to be about to spend some time with. And this time last year, although it's more Christmas time, one of his closest friends, a girl called Bib, which was a short nickname like Birdie's name, she had a very similar experience. Although she had ovarian cancer and a 3-month diagnosis, and she went downhill very quickly. But Bib's been very much in our thoughts. We've been chatting a lot about her as well. So it'd be nice for Andrew and I just to spend some time together and talk about the B girls, Birdie and Bib. But I am going to ask him for an extra long head massage. And I might even live on the edge and ask for a glass of wine too. Look out. And his salon is in a hotel that has a like lounge area that's got a really nice lunch menu, and you can order lunch and they bring it into you while you're sitting there having your hair done. It's all very civilized. So it couldn't have been better timing, really. Even my new bosses, I had to go, I didn't have to, I wanted to go and see Bernie the other night and drop some stuff into her. But I didn't appreciate how she pretty much already left us. Her heart was still beating, but she was no longer able to talk or anything like that. But the boys said to me when they were leaving on Thursday, you know, keep us posted about your friend, and because I'm working Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and they said, you know, if you need to bump your days later in the week, or, you know, just let us know. Like, they were very aware that I had a friend who was possibly going to die. Well, we all kind of felt that she wouldn't be with us past this weekend. But yeah, so even they've been lovely, and if it turns out that her funeral is on one of those days, it's actually nice to know that they're okay with me swapping my days out. But a group of us will probably, depending, Scotty might just want to sleep. He slept at the palliative ward last night with her. I don't think he slept. It sounded like he hadn't slept, but sat with her holding her hand and talking to her. So I was really glad that he was with her this morning, and it was just him there. I think people choose when they want to go, and I'm sure she was in control of that and made sure it was just the two of them. So we might all catch up with Scotty tonight. We'll see how he's doing. If not, tomorrow. I'm going to scrap that Night Stalker live. I kind of was all pumped when I was watching it, and now I'm sort of like, yeah, whatever. I feel like, you know, I missed my moment to chat about it, and all I really wanted to talk about was, I found it to be a really good production, but so many true crime people didn't like it because they wanted all the gory details. But the reason I really liked it was refreshing to not have all the, I mean, there were gory details and there were crime scene photos and everything, but I liked that it focused on the detectives and the survivors and the victims' friends and family. Like, I really loved that about it. I thought that was not groundbreaking, but a nice change of focus. I agree, Ruth. I think a glass of wine is the perfect thing to be doing. Although my appointment, I'm going to be a bit early. Otherwise, there's a little Joey on the road that have been hit by a car. That makes me so sad. Go find Birdie. Birdie loves the little critters. I'm so sad for the little kitten Jonesy. Because animals know. And she's been such a gorgeous she's such an aloof little tart normally, but when Birdie was at home still but sleeping a lot, Jonesy was being really snuggly and curling up on the bed with her and being super cute. Scotty was like, you know, that she was reading Birdie's emotions, which they do. Yeah, she was Twiggy. She was at the good ward. It looks like warp speed. I'm doing about 106. Someone in my chat or under one of my videos said it's something to do with the light inside, the way it reflects inside lenses on phone cameras, and you can't do anything about it. But I did wonder, I've seen, you know, like these phone cases that are actually better lenses. And they've got, some of them have got some features and all kinds of stuff on them. And I was thinking, maybe I should get one of those and test run that, see what That's like, um, because, yeah, it's kind of cool. I think I'm also going to make my KSAN thing private. I really want to go live and have some fun with that and chat with people. StreamYard has been really temperamental and weird yesterday, and so was I. But the story of KSAN Cox, the girl in Adelaide who's on the run is gold. You know, and I'll bring up the same whole Facebook page. We can go through all the comments and fun on Facebook and people quoting lyrics from cultures and songs. And I tried to do a true crime angle on it and see if the whereabouts were in a clue in the words, in the lyrics to the song KSAN, but it didn't really work. Although I did get 2 thumbs down, so I pissed 2 people off. That made me happy. It's probably the same fuckwit who has 2 channels and thumbs me down with one and then logs out and logs into the other. And how do I know this? Well, of course I know this because you can see where you're getting thumbs downs from. And the fact that it's the same city, I don't think that's a coincidence, considering it's the only person in that city who has made it incredibly apparent that they have an issue with me. It's not my fault they have a little dick and an unlikable personality, but take it out on me. You do what you've got to do. Still feeding into my algorithm. See how the sky has changed? Now we've left the sunny tropical southern beaches and now we arrive into Hobart town and there's cloud over Mount Wellington, which is about to come into view. I'm in a sundress and sandals, and I know when I get out of the car I wish I was in jeans and a long sleeve shirt and boots. Sounds good, Casper. Are you making your juice? Have you got a juicer? But yeah, so little birdie has left us, but she's out of pain now. When you've got friends who are terminally ill, you do start grieving for them before they actually leave as well. And I think with Mem, a lot of my grieving for her was sort of rolled in with my grieving for Birdie, because I've had a few days of just allowing myself to fall into a heap. Not a whole day or anything, but I've just allowed myself to feel what I feel and, you know, not give myself a hard time. There's a Japanese, when my mum died, I was reading The Art of Happiness, which is a book that Dalai Lama wrote about the death of his father and brother in the same year. And he sort of teaches you how to be happy when you're at your saddest. It's a really lovely book. But in there he references a Japanese saying with death and with grief, that you treat grief like you're a reed and you just go wherever the wind takes you. So when the wind's blowing reeds in different directions, you just go with it. And I've always approached grief that way. And it's advice I give my friends when they lose someone and they're not as familiar with grief as I am, to just think of yourself as a reed and just go wherever the wind blows you. Hey, out of the carton's fine. I do love a freshly squeezed juice though, but juices are such a bitch to clean. So I've been doing all these green smoothies, and I had the pineapple one again today. Yum. I like them because you get all your veggies and some fruits and everything first thing in the morning, and then if you have the other half later in the day, you've had your daily minimum requirements for fruit and veg. I'm so loving having all the fruits that I wasn't allowed to have when I was doing keto again. Like, it's lovely having peaches. I haven't had a banana yet, but I'm getting excited about having a banana. I missed bananas. I missed nuts and seeds, and I missed crunchy things. I'm a very textural eater. I'm a tactile person, but I also love texture and crunch. And there's not a lot of crunch in keto. But yeah, Hobart Town is looking a little bit bleak compared to back down my way. I was hoping there might be a rainbow because Birdie died in our palliative ward at the same place where my mum died, and the day after mum died there was a rainbow that looked like it was shooting out of the Whittle ward, and I told a friend of mine and he said, oh, there's a Tibetan monk, or no, it's a Buddhist. This Buddhist belief, they call it rainbow body. When somebody dies and they attain enlightenment, they radiate light, which creates a rainbow. And he said, you know, believe it was your mum. And then my cousins got married at a restaurant that's down in a bay below a hill where there's a cemetery where my mum is. And we're all talking about mum and missing her and all of the rest of it. And then this rainbow just appeared right in front of this restaurant where we all were. And I've been telling them about rainbow body. So I won't be surprised if I see a rainbow. That is, of course, if Birdie has attained enlightenment. Oh shit, it's Salamanca Markets today, so I better not head over that way. Where can we go? As usual, I'm half an hour early. I can't live without bananas. Yeah, I love them too. I've missed them. I made some little mini blueberry muffins yesterday and I filmed it, and I was going to make another one of my little cooking videos. And while they were cooking, I started editing it and speeding bits up and cutting bits out and adding text about all the ingredients and all that sort of stuff. And then they were cooked, and like all really healthy things, there's always the potential they're not going to be great. There's nothing wrong with them except that they taste like crazily healthy. They're not great. I mean, they're not bad, but I've got 24 of the little fuckers, and they're not even nice enough to give away. They're not bad. They're not gross, but as far as muffins go, they're just a bit... So I'm not even going to bother finishing editing it. What's the point in spending like 3 hours editing a video and putting music under it and making it all pretty, and then just pretty much showing everyone how to make really average muffins. Mr. Twig worked down here. Cool. I like having Taswegians in my chat. Bit of local knowledge. So straight ahead is the Grand Chancellor Hotel. And Thingamajig was saying the other night when I did a road trip, they're like, oh, you could have picked me up from outside the Grand Chancellor and dropped me off at the pub. So the doors straight ahead, those glass doors, and there's a glass window, that's the salon. Look, I'm totally doxing where I'm going to be for the next 2 or 3 hours. So if any YouTubers, people on YouTube watching who are in Tassie want to come and see me while I'm getting my hair cut, come on down. Gorgeous Mac 1 Hotel, straight ahead on the right. The boys, thank God, the guys that I'm working for, they stayed there, so we had beautiful dinner there the other night. I was like, okay, the firm I'm working for stay at my favourite hotel in Hobart. This job's just getting better and better as it goes. That girl, I don't know if you saw her, but there was a woman just standing there in an orange top. She used to be the Premier of Tasmania. Her name is Lara Giddings. So there you go. Bit of a celeb while we're tootling around. Just trying to think where I can tootle just for like 15 minutes. Oh my God, Ruth, you've written an essay. I can't read all of that. got to watch the traffic. I'll pull over somewhere. I could see something about your mum and paintings. Oh, the best guy with huge clouds, and she did painting. There you go. See, I reckon they do get to play with the weather machine. I'm really hot, and it's only 22 degrees. I'm putting my aircon on. I don't want to get caught up in the Salamanca traffic. Let's go this way. We might just do a little loop. I'll go around. I'll go past Biscuits Mural on that bridge. I know. I'm Creature of Habit. I always do the same loop, but just a block away from here is Salamanca, and it's market day, and there'll be people and cars and shit everywhere. So I can read your essay now. But that's lovely, Ruth. Did you take a photo of that sky? I love it when things like that happen. My mum's funeral, the morning of it was a really grey, overcast, rainy day, and she was this really bright, bubbly woman who wore, lots of colourful clothing, and it was so sad that it was just this grey day, but it was warm but grey. And then when we came out of the funeral, the sun had come out, and there was, this beautiful blue sky, and I remember saying to someone who was falling apart, I said, "Oh, I think Mum's found the weather machine." Oh, there's a little guide dog. I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. There's a guide dog on the side of that bus, and it's not big enough yet for its harness. That makes me tear up. I love guide dogs. Little puppy. Not always, but we had labs and retrievers, and they have the cutest puppies. In fact, I had golden retriever / Labrador. Chelsea was a failed guide dog puppy. We're like, we'll have her. She's naughty. She fits into our clan. Bring it on. Whenever I take you guys on a road trip, I want to sing from an Australian film, The Castle. I want to say, "We're going to Bonnie Doon." But we're not going to Bonnie Doon. Oh, the photos didn't turn out. Stormy. Well, that's kind of appropriate too. I'll just do a little blocky, and then we'll go into the car park and chat for a few more minutes. As always, driving in from town and drinking a massive bottle of water. I'll go to the loo before I go into my appointment. I think getting my hair cut's the perfect thing for me to be doing today, and to be getting it done by and being able to spend time with my best friend as well. It's all just right. When my mum died, we used a line. I read it out in my eulogy from a Joyce Grenfell poem, which is, "Weep if you must, because parting is hell, but life goes on, so sing as well." So for Bertie, I think it's very appropriate that I'm getting my hair done. COVID testing ahead. We still don't have any cases here. I think the entire country's gone for, 16 days now without any community transmitted cases. And when you look at other places where there's, 200,000 new cases a day, there are little towns in America that are getting more cases a day than we've had in the entire country. But, since reporting started, it's just crazy. But if I hear one more Australian say how lucky we are, they really need to change their use of the word lucky, because it's not luck. We should all be grateful that we had the advantage of learning from other countries, and that we had a government, both federal and state governments, that actually listened, didn't decide how they were going to approach it, actually took advice from countries that were getting reamed by it. So, yeah, Australians, you've got to stop saying how we're lucky, because this wasn't luck. I mean, you might feel lucky to live here because of the COVID situation or lack of COVID situation, but I feel incredible gratitude to have been in a country that actually had the advantage of listening and chose to listen. So Biscuit's murals on the left, I was hoping I could pull over and show, but just coming up on the left, there's Biscuit, a big multicoloured face of my cute little flip. God, she's cute. It was a bit hot in the house this morning because there was so much sun coming in. And when I was leaving, she's in a room. She's in the second spare bedroom, just lying on her back with her legs in the air. She cracks me up so much. It's like, well, you look comfy, mate. I'll see you a bit later. UK are now messing up the vaccines. Holy fuck, Ruth. It really concerns me because people's mental health through something like this has been, pretty much at the forefront of medical practitioners. People sort of concerned about how dramatic self-isolating, like the impact it can have. And hey, let's go down this way. I can show you a roundabout that won best roundabout in the world a couple of years ago. Cracked us all up at Hobart, this little roundabout. But there's a roundabout appreciation society, and they vote every year on the best roundabout in the world. And this roundabout won it, and it's a particular kind of roundabout. I can't remember the scientific name, but it's got a very cool, very retro 60s fountain in it, and there are little tunnels that sort of go under the main road, so there's no pedestrians where the roundabout is. They all go through these tunnels, and there's a little coffee shop down there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, one best roundabout in the world, so I'll take you and you can see that. It's good. But yeah, with the UK and the vaccines and everything, like people's mental health just from having to quarantine and self-isolate and also lockdown, has been forefront on everyone's minds. But then to have all these fucking frequent fuck-ups on top of it, like especially things, I don't know the story about the vaccines, but, especially things that could have been controlled or prevented, and how that must impact on people's mental health on top of the isolation and everything else. It's concerning. It's really concerning. Sending you lots and lots of love. It's really all I can do. We do feel kind of helpless looking on, and I just keep thinking, look, I'm going live on YouTube. If it gives people a bit of scenery to look at, or they feel like they're walking on the beach next to me, or they feel like they're in the passenger seat with me at the moment, then, that's my contribution. And obviously anyone can ever, you guys can message me anytime if you just want to offload. Although over the next week or so I may be ugly crying and not the best person to have a chat with. I might just be a sobber. It's crazy, Ruth. I've actually used your example about how you haven't left home since March last year with some of my friends in Melbourne who are still carrying on about how they went into lockdown for 15 weeks and how traumatic it was. And I'm not downplaying their experience. Everyone's entitled to feel how they. Oh fuck, that was the roundabout back there, by the way. I'm not downplaying. Everyone's feelings are valid, but perspective is also pretty important at the moment with the whole COVID scenario. It's not that you play the COVID Olympics, but I do enjoy occasionally with people that are being fuckwits point out that it could have been a lot worse for them. Doesn't mean they're not entitled to feel what they feel, but see how small Hobart is? I mean, mind you, we were just pretty much driving around the perimeter of it, but we're back where we started. My beach walk this morning, I thought about going live, but I just knew that Birdie was leaving us today. I knew it. And I was really calm and content knowing that. But I just chose to have my walk and think about her. And I walked down past Park Cafe, the last place we had lunch, the last time we saw each other, in fact, while she was still Birdie, doing Birdie things. And grabbed a coffee and a really, really delicious custard-filled donut and went for my healthy morning walk. You don't need to tailgate me when the speed limit in Hobart is 50, you fuck. Sorry, bit of road rage. Yeah, fuck you. It goes down to 40 here on the 1st of February, so that person that was just being an arsehole, I hope they get busted. Not now, but when it goes down to 40 and they're doing 60, they'll lose their license. Bring it on. Don't you wish, though, when you've lost someone that you could wear a little, I don't know, have a little halo above your head or a little ring of a little circle of stars or something, so people know that you've just lost someone and so they're nice to you? Because when people are being aggressive assholes like that, you feel like saying to them, I just lost a friend, so your aggression and wanting me to accelerate because you're running late for something ain't appreciated right now. I'm fragile. I mean, I'm actually not fragile, but you know what I mean. My mum taught me that a long time ago. Don't know what someone else is going through. So be nice to everyone, because something horrible might have just happened to them. And if you're nice to everyone, you're not going to run the risk of upsetting someone. I don't know what the reception will be like in here. God, that old Jag sounded like it had those old-fashioned cars that have the horns on them? I won't park there. There's a family with a heap of kids and someone's having their nappy changed lying on the concrete. Jesus. The things you see. Be nice, Tori. I didn't want to run them over, basically. This works for me. But yeah, you know those horns on old-fashioned cars that sort of do the noise? That Jaguar sounded like one of those on a little vintage car. So yeah, I don't even know if I've got any reception now. Just line Biff up a bit better. Right. Let's get what we need. The boys grow a heap of stuff in their garden. So I've got they always give me little containers of their blueberries and things. So I've got a little bag of their washed containers to give back to Andrew. I don't know why I'm telling you this stuff. It's not very interesting. Well, it might be. So yeah, blow a kiss. You still hear me, Ruth? Wicked. Blow a kiss to the heavens for my beautiful friend Birdie, who has left us. She's no longer in pain. And now we can all start the healing process and wrap our beautiful friend Scotty up in a lot of love. I might go live tomorrow because I'm going to be, well, we may all be catching up tonight, but I'm going to be doing a lot of meal prep and cooking for Scotty, because when you lose someone, I mean, I don't know what he's going to be like, but I never want to eat food, and I certainly, even though I love cooking, I usually can't be fucked cooking. So I'll do a barbecue chicken for him and get some fresh bread and a few salady things, and I'll probably make up a big pot of, bolognese sauce and just get him a couple of bags of pasta and some parmesan cheese, and I'll get him a little bit of fruit as well, just so he's got some stuff. Actually, he probably doesn't need fruit. I reckon he's got one of the gigantic bags of peaches that Roger gave all of us last weekend. A couple of packets of chalky bickies like Tim Tams or something. Thanks, Ruth. I love the little birdie emoji. There's a thread in my child-free group this morning saying, what's your favourite emoji? And I just said, this is mine right now, and I did the little bird. I was going to say I love the footprints in the sand, but I just put the little birdie. Okay, looks like I've got everything I need. I hope you all have a lovely, what is it today? Saturday. So I hope those of you who are already in the future, and it's Saturday for you as well, I hope you have beautiful Saturdays. Those of you, it's Friday night. Enjoy your night. I hope you all have lovely weekends. And yeah, I might go live when I'm doing a big cook up. I've got an instant pot and a fast slow cooker, so I might get some stuff cooking for Scotty. In fact, I'll stop at the supermarket on the way home and buy some more containers and stuff so I can do that. So I'll probably go live and do that, subject to when we're catching up with him as well. He may just want to go home and have a cry. He's such a gorgeous guy. One thing I love about these guys, they're covered in tats and they look like bikers, and they are the softest teddy bear men you'll ever meet. Very healthy men processing sadness. When I rang up Roger to tell him he had a cry, I love that I've got these gorgeous men in my life who aren't afraid to have a cry. Oh yeah, my new haircut. I'll do that. Maybe I'll go live when I leave after my haircut for the drive home. I'll take you all with me to Coles and I'll go and get the containers and some bits and pieces so I can cook up some meals for Scotty. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for all of your lovely comments about Birdie. I am actually doing okay, and I'll go and get my new haircut for Birdie. I'll show it off a bit later. But I love you guys. And like I was saying, I've got a really incredible circle of friends. I've got lots of little circles of friends, but the circle of friends I have down where I live, who Birdie was a part of, I love that my channel is a reflection of that as well. So thank you all for being precious people in my circle of friends. And if any of you today think of somebody that you haven't spoken to for a while or contacted, give them a call. I love you guys. Stay groovy. Till next time. Goodbye.